Oh, howdy all. Grab yourself a beer. It's time for some Path of Exile discussion. 3.15.3 Bravo is a patch that's coming out probably today, possibly even is out by the time you're watching this video. And I just wanted to quickly go through the patch notes, give you a heads up of what to expect. Firstly, this is a bug fix patch. This is fixing a few things that are significant bugs that have been in the game, one of which has really been annoying me for a while. This is not intended as a balance patch, although one of the bugs that they fix has considerable balance implications. So, the first thing that I want to mention is the most significant line here, in my opinion. Fixed a bug where adding an itemized beast to your bestiary would not unlock relevant beast recipes. So, imagine a world where you could trade for exalted orbs from other players, but you were not able to actually apply them to items unless you had found an exalted orb yourself in the game world. This would be something that would be unfairly rigged against newer players. They would be locked out of a certain type of crafting until they'd reached a certain progression milestone. And now, whilst you'll find an exalted orb reasonably early in your playing career, imagine that also applied to Mirrors of Kalandra. I've never found a Mirror of Kalandra, and therefore I would be locked out of using a Mirror of Kalandra in this world. Well, that's how beast crafting worked until today. Basically, you could not use a Phenomenal Plague Directed, which is one of the more powerful of the beasts. It's the one that enables you to split an item into two, split a rare item into two with half the mods on each item, and also apply the split tag to both halves. Now, you would not be able to use these unless you had personally found a Phenomenal Plague Directed. And this meant that, among other things, you could have this situation where it was really difficult for players to do challenges that required you to kill a bestiary boss. It was not possible for you to simply trade for the beast that summons the portals to Craasian's Den like I can do because I found that beast in the past. You would have to actually get someone else to open the portals for you because you didn't have that recipe. Well, all these issues are solved. Now, as soon as you acquire the beast by any means and actually add it to your bestiary, you get all of the relevant unlocked recipes. So this is a huge improvement. And like I said, it's the equivalent of removing a restriction that you can't use a mirror until you've found a mirror. Although for crafts that are considerably more easy to find yourself than a mirror is. Most significantly, this is going to unlock a lot of options for players that are sort of in the 24 challenge range to get access to crafting recipes in Trade League that they don't currently have. So this is a really good thing, and this would be on its own enough of a change to make me happy about this. Lastly, this has no implications whatsoever in solo self-found. This is just a Trade League thing. The second significant change is there has been a significant bug, and this has been one of those bugs that's been making players more powerful than intended, on the Transcendence Keystone passive. So Transcendence is from memory, it's linked to one of the Timeless Jewels. It's a passive that gives you a drawback and an advantage. Actually, two drawbacks and one advantage. So the drawbacks are, firstly, 5% reduced maximum resistances. Secondly, that armor no longer provides you with any mitigation against physical damage. And third, that armor provides mitigation against elemental damage. What is currently not working is that drawback where armor provides no mitigation against physical damage. That has been something that works only if your character has no other sources of physical damage mitigation. So this means that if you've got 10,000 armor and you also have a chest armor piece that says 2% additional physical damage reduction, you are getting the full effects of that 10,000 armor, both against physical damage and also against elemental damage with Transcendence at the moment. That bug is being fixed. You will lose the effects of that 10,000 physical damage reduction, that 10,000 armor for physical damage, as Transcendence was always intended to work. So basically, Transcendence is going to work the way that its in-game text says it will work, rather than the bug way it's been working for this league. So that's going to cause a couple of people to get a nasty surprise when this happens, but it was something that was always obviously going to happen. In terms of other changes, there's some changes to the visuals of Varana Last to Fall, one of the new bosses. The description of the Twice Tempted Atlas passive, so this is the one that lets you access strongboxes twice, this at least 10% of the time. It's just being updated just in description, so it's not going to be any change to how it works. Fixed a bug where the flask enchantment to reuse a flask at the end of its effect could reuse a flask multiple times. Now, I sort of expected that it would let you continue reusing the flasks. I thought that was the intended purpose of that enchantment. So the way that I'm reading this is that currently, if you're using this enchantment, it will just keep reusing itself at the end of the flask duration until it runs out of charges and it's not able to trigger itself. I always thought that was the intended behavior. So maybe the intended behavior was just that it only echoes once, like spell echo. In any case, I guess I'll have to find out what that is in practice. But I think a lot of bug reports will be coming in if it was only ever intended to echo once. That's not the way that I read the text. So we'll see what happens on that. Fix the bug where Zana would not offer you another mission in a map if portals to the previously selected mission failed to open. I've never encountered this bug, but I can imagine it's pretty annoying early in Atlas progression, so I'm glad it's fixed. Fix a bug where Katarina could go on strike and perform no actions. Obviously, bugs that cause bosses to do nothing are something that's really, they can sort of feel really cheesy and take out the thrill of actually winning a fight as well. So that's an improvement. Fixed a bug where safe house portals could open around the player instead of Jun in map areas. I can imagine that this is a positive. Like, there's no reason to open a Syndicate safe house in a map. That's the first thing that needs to be said there. But assuming you do want to do so for some reason, I can imagine that it's something that's really annoying if they open around you, but around you there's a wall, and so you end up only getting 3 of them. That amplifies the mistake you've already made by opening them within the map. That said, always open your Syndicate safe houses in your hideout. It's just better. Fix a bug where some sound effects like the gong in Ober's Cursed Trove were not playing. I had no idea there was a gong in there. Fix a bug where filtering the map stash tab with a quoted search term was not working properly. Hopefully this means that we can now do things like search our map stash tab for Elder or search our map stash tab for Delirious and have the highlights up at the top show where we've got maps that meet those criteria. That said, I'm not holding my breath on that. Fix a bug where some modifier range values would sometimes not show on Forbidden Taste and Doedre's Elixir. So Forbidden Taste in particular, essentially this flask restores 75 to 100% of your max life on use, but it uses different text for 100%. So if you have a perfectly divine one, it will say recovers max life on use. So I'm assuming that they may have just changed that, or the way that works. I'm not sure about Doedre's Elixir. Fix a bug where the 3D art for Calm's heart had lost some of its glow, and that's, one of those things that's just cool for some people that use that item still. And fix an instance crash. So that's what's been changed. Basically, the key thing there are the two big changes are the beast crafting change and the change that's being made to Transcendence. If you have been abusing the way that Transcendence is working, then these patch notes are going to put you in a very bad mood, but you knew it was coming as well. And if you were someone that was trying to get into beast crafting, I think you'd be very happy with this patch. Anyway, that's all I got on this one. May your Varlobs have interesting results, and I will see you in game.